The reason you aren't a pro is this. Muzz lands at the Sloppy Swamp, and immediately what we need to note is that Muzz uses Lara Croft, Icebreaker and the Mortal Kombat glider. These are all important as the first two minimise input delay, and the glider is useful as it's harder to get out of the sky when in games. A full duo lands on him, so he takes out the one who took more fall damage and then kills the other player who has the gun, in the same duel. In the next fight, Muzz immediately grabs the wall between himself and the player for a piece, and cones him to stop them getting away. He then grabs the ramp in his opponent's box and immediately edits. Then Muzz goes and holds the wall, changing the angle between himself and the player to make it harder to get the shot off. The wall breaks until eventually pre-firing the player, killing him with one shot. Muzz catches a player running from a fight, so he chases him. The player boxes up, so Muzz slide jumps to the left of the wall to give himself a right hand peek. He then sees the player elevate as he goes round to close the distance, so he builds up, protecting himself with ramps and getting a wall between him and his opponent. He presses and then the player shockwaves, so Muzz just ends up killing him. Muzz shockwaves in to help his duo in this fight and pressures the opponent's box from an angle that's safe. He then notices his opponent's look back around, so he goes up and gets a double edit piece. His opponent gets away and Muzz is fighting his duo since they came out of a cone to get a jump on him, so he lands a 153 damage shot and then finishes the fight with another shotgun shot. Now Clicks lands on a north for Sloppy Swamp after grabbing the striker burst there. He fights his duo off spawn. Clicks is forced with an aim duel, but he decides to play angles through the door and walks through it as the player tries to close the door, letting him get a free kill. His opponent's duo then jumps up, and so Clicks ends up going and placing walls so that if he has a shotgun he doesn't take damage. He drops down and then he's pressuring his opponent's wall with his AR, keeping his crosshair on at all times so he gets the kill. Now Clicks opens his fight from mid-range, getting a lot of damage with the AR. Having the health advantage, he pushes, flipping a ramp and slide jumping off of it to get the most distance covered as quickly as possible. He then tries to get the piece, but doesn't get it quick enough, so he retreats out of the main mist smoke so that it's easier to fight. He makes sure his back is never to his opponent, using mats to protect himself and minimise the amount of damage he takes, as well as getting some counter damage onto him as well, so that the fight is more equal and eventually in his favour. He then boxes up so he can try and reload his AR, as well as heal up some health that he's taken during the fight. The player jumps in, so Clicks pre-fires and gets 2 shots off before jumping up to elevate himself, baits the edit, and then he finishes the player in an aim duel, as shown here. Now going outside the reload and across the BR, Poyo is pushing the fight that Peterbot is in. He gets cones, so he edits out to the side and gets a bird-eye view of the fight. He jumps down, gets to the enemy, his teammate's knocked, so he drops down and aim duels the other player using the twin hammer pump shotguns, making sure not to use the glass and get cover behind the door, aim for the upper body of the player to get as consistent damage as possible, as well as maximising it. In this fight, Poyo and Pete push a solo and Poyo notices he's dropped down into the underground section of Lethal Labs, so he drops down and chases the player to apply pressure. Poyo places cones through the glass so the player can't build, allowing them to easily win the 2v1. Pete and Poyo are fighting in Storm and Pete gets knocked, so Poyo has to clutch the 2v1. Poyo drops down towards Pete as he is about to get finished by a player, so Poyo gets a double edit piece down and gets a headshot kill. Poyo drops into the same box as the duo and starts losing the aim duel, so he jumps out and edits the ramp, confusing the player who's breaking it, trying to find him and then grabbing the kill easily. Now you can apply all this theory all you want, however you still won't be a pro unless you have the skill to do all this. That takes practice and that isn't a quick thing, and all of a sudden you're qualifying grands. You need to drill everything vigorously until it's perfect before you can be a pro, so I highly suggest practicing your free building for a while and aim dueling every day, since that are the most important aspects of any pro player, and then you need to make sure that it's perfect and that there's no flaws in it if you want to become a pro. Otherwise, all this still won't help you. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe, check out why you are better than Peterbot in the description below, and goodbye.